To the Fixed Wing Guide channel. My name's Stuart Lomas. Let's start off very quickly by, apparently, I have five subscribers. Two of them don't seem to be appearing on my list, but apparently that's due to people who don't allow their profile to be public, and that's fine. I did receive a comment from, and I do apologise, I'm assuming you're Welsh, I could be wrong, but your first name is R-Y-V-R, and your surname is Bruddock. Now, if you are Welsh, obviously the Y is pronounced as a U. So is it River? Bruddock? Let me know. Thank you very much for your kind comments. Very interested, always interested in getting your comments. Thank you very much. Everyone I've received so far has been positive. I'm sure that will change. But thank you very much indeed. And as I said yesterday, who knew? Who knew? But anyway, let's crack on. I want to talk about our friend down under, Archie. Archie Luxury. God bless his little cotton socks. He's selling his so-called pride and joy, his Rolex solid gold bluesy. Now, as we're aware, it's a Rolex 16618. Archie proudly made a video back in October last year, saying that he was in Bangkok and he'd sold his Calatrava and something else I seem to remember to purchase said Rolex. Now, the obvious thing, of course, there is that he's only owned the watch for 5 months. And this, I feel, gives a very, very valuable lesson and kind of underpins my ethos, I suppose, of the habit that we have as watch fanciers for buying watches. When we have an itch, we tend to find it's very, very difficult not to scratch it. But if you live by my ethos, which is be careful what you spend, be very careful what you buy, and be careful of how you spend. Now, I have no doubt that people watching this rubbish is also a keen viewer of all the channels that I view, so Archie, Guido, Simon, Andy, Matt, and so on and so forth. Some of which, of course, all go down the route of sensible spending. As I mentioned, Simon seems to be going slightly the opposite way right now. But I want to talk about the lesson to be learned here from Archie. I'm sure that he doesn't appreciate that he is teaching us a lesson, but unbeknownst to him, the lovely Antipodean soul that he is, he has taught us that regardless of how annoying or frustrating or strong the itch actually is, sometimes it needs to be ignored. Put some form of cream on it until it goes away. I'll ask a question right in the middle here of my little rant today. Have you ever lost everything? For some unknown reason, either by your own doing and mismanagement of your life or other people's out to get you kind of mentality. Have you ever lost everything? I have. The only thing I didn't lose was somewhere to live, and that was only because my elderly mother was still alive. I could have ended up on the streets. Now, what I'm coming from here is we all are aware that if we've lost anything, life can change in a heartbeat, literally in a heartbeat. So my ethos about being careful and not taking advice from so-called experts and not being pushed in a certain direction, I've always thought runs contrary to Archie's point of view, where if you buy a watch and it doesn't feel like a kick in the nuts, then it's not worth owning. Seems to have bitten him. he's obviously got this itch back in October. I'm assuming it was before that, September or October last year, where he felt he needed to put a bit more bang or a bit more brashness within his collection. So he sold off a couple of pieces and bought the Rolex. Now, we're all aware that Archie, who we are all aware is a character, has had a number of failed marriages. He's paying out for a lot of unhappy wives. He has debts that are beyond his control, and that he had to close the channel down a few months ago to deal with his mental health issues. Now, obviously, I don't know how much of that is true where Paul is concerned, Paul Pluter, who is actually the real person behind Archie, or Archie's alter ego. I don't really know which one it is. But I don't know how much that is true to Paul. I do have a feeling that Paul has one failed marriage behind him. Now, why he does what he does escapes me. This is a prime example of somebody who can't ignore the itch, or is subject to the I've got to keep up with the Joneses or else I'm not a proper watch collector, or I've got to have a particular foundation piece in my collection or else my credibility within being an international YouTube celebrity will falter. I don't know what's going on there, but he's obviously maxed out any credit he had. He obviously has lost 2 watches which he owned outright, I'm assuming, to buy a watch which, in his own words, is the ultimate car salesman's watch, a gold bluesy. 5 months down the line, he finds himself in a situation where creditors are biting at his heels. I have noticed in the last couple of days he has made what can only be called a begging video, asking people to send him money, and not even sending money for something in return, a watch collection review or information about a particular brand or whatever. He's just asking people to send him money. Now, to me, that's wrong. I mean, it's wrong on so many fronts, and the one that's foremost in my mind is pride. Where's your pride, Arch? Where's your pride? Don't beg. He talks down to people who are on benefits in Australia. He calls them people who don't want to work, or waste of space, or work shy, or whatever they are. Here in the UK, I am one such person, according to Archie. Not to go too deep into one of the things that went wrong, I had an abscess on the base of my spine. My career as a professional fundraiser disappeared, and learning to walk again was a bitch. But 10 years later, I support myself, I pay my own way, and that is what you should do in life. So my advice to Archie on a personal front is grow a backbone, mate. Deal with what life is doling out, and prioritise. If you have unhappy wives or wife who is wanting to take you for everything, if you have residential debts, pay them off. If you have plastic debts and you can't afford to pay them off, then consolidate, put them on a 0% interest card, and then maybe pay them off over time. But please don't beg. And for somebody such as yourself, who seems to hold so much store against owning the greatest and finest watches in the world, you've put yourself in a hole by buying something that you yourself said was a car salesman's watch, and 5 months later it's having to disappear from your possession. What rhyme nor reason nor sense does that make? I don't understand, and I'm having trouble putting it together in my own head. You surely, even if you can't manage money, surely you must see that that doesn't make any sense. And another question I would ask of Archie is, he seems to spend a hell of a lot of time in Bangkok. Now, if he is so badly off as he seems, how does he afford to travel and pay his way and stay in hotels? I have no idea. So he is either independently wealthy, and he's not telling us. He either has a secret benefactor, which I know he has a few who send him Glenlivet whiskey and things like that, or his donations are more than he says. You know, you'll hear him say he's got $10 or $20 to do something. There may be more than that to fund his lifestyle. I wish I could afford the lifestyle to disappear to Bangkok for a few days or a week or whatever. So I think all I wanted to do today was highlight Archie's video. If you can find it on the internet, have a look at it. It is something that I find quite sad, that talking as somebody who loves watches, and if I had to sell my Rolex, I would be devastated. It would never leave my possession. Something so drastic would have to happen. But also it is a life lesson for all of us. If you want to live a happy life and a contented watch collector existence, do not follow the example of Archie Luxury. He keeps getting himself in a hole. He can't seem to find a way to dig himself out, although the solution is relatively easy if you're sensible. And he now has a piece which is going to, I can only assume, rip a hole the size of the moon in his soul when it actually leaves his possession. He wants 25,000 Australian dollars for it. It's about 19,000 USD, and I guess about 14,500, 15,000 pounds sterling. Now I actually don't know whether that's good value or not, because I have no interest in a solid gold bluesy. But I guess that's it for this video. I just wanted to tell Archie that he's being foolish to himself, and kind of point out that where he is heading and the lifestyle he's living is exactly where I'm trying to tell people not to go. As I always say, buy what you like, buy what you feel will look good on your wrist, and buy what attracts you. It is solely yours. But please, 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 don't max out any credit cards, don't take a loan, don't let your life suffer, don't let your wife suffer, don't let your children suffer for the sake of some timepiece on your wrist, which is just an adornment at the end of the day. I will make more videos today. As I said yesterday, there's a few things rattling around this empty head of mine. So until I speak to you again later on today, thanks a lot for watching. Thank you very, very much for your comments. Thank you very much to my 5 subscribers. One definitely I can't identify. One, Ruva Bruddock, I think is how you pronounce your name. I do apologise if that's incorrect. Let me know. Send me a note. Tell me how to pronounce your name. Any questions? Down below. Any suggestions for any subjects? Down below. Any complaints, worries, you want to shout at me? Down below. This is the internet. You can do what you like, and I will love to hear from you. And please don't forget to subscribe. Thanks a lot. I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.